Thanks for clicking on Wayne.com to watch Inside the Zone. And yeah, we're talking about the second round of the playoffs already. A historic victory for the Komets this past Sunday as far as ECHL history goes.
And the Komets history, really.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about what you saw on Sunday and what this series victory means for the Komets.
Well, I saw the same thing that they've done all series. I mean, they did a great job of protecting Ben Meisner and keeping the shots to the outside, and there were never any second chances. They got to the rebounds right away, and Ben did a much better job in this series of controlling his rebounds. And they needed that, too, because this was a game Ben stole for him, frankly. I thought Reading was, frankly, the more aggressive team all day, and this game was played in Reading's style, Reading's pace. And the Komets just kind of hung on, and Ben let them hang on until they figured out a way to win.
When you talk about the historical significance of this series, we're talking about a number 1 seed losing to an 8 seed in the first round of the playoffs in a best-of-7 series. First time it's happened in ECHL history, and that's pretty good history.
And they were the defending champs, too. I mean, I don't think you can, normally you could say, well, they had a whole new team, but they had 8, 9 guys back from last year. Their top line, their top goalies, their top defensive pair. I think you could legitimately say they were a defending championship team. Same coaching staff, that kind of thing too.
So the biggest question, I think, as an umbrella statement that I want to hear from you is, it's a simple question. How did they do it?
They bought in. Like we talked about last week, Gary Graham loves picking things apart like this with his scouting reports. That's how he's going to get to the NHL someday, is he's going to be a video coordinator for an NHL team because he's so good at it. I mean, he just picks it apart. And the guys listened, and they bought in, and they protected Ben, and they let Ben just be Ben and do his job, which was make the first save, and didn't have to be too acrobatic. He didn't have to be too sensational, though he was at times. When they needed him to make the game-saving stop, he could do that, and he could make the momentum-changing save too, where they kept the momentum. But they just listened to what Gary said, and they made the adjustments. The first period was always the worst period for them, and they always came back strong the second period, and the third period they dominated. It's because they were listening to what they were instructed to do, and they just were refusing to lose.
As far as Meisner goes, .963 save percentage. That's ridiculous.
Well, what's ridiculous
1.1
is 9.59 and then going up. I mean, he kept going up in this series. That's what's incredible.
How did he flip the script on, like a month and a half ago, here's a guy that you were wondering, does he have it all together mentally?
Yeah.
Does it manifest itself physically and, kind of panic attacks, heart palpitations, things like that? And here he is, I think unquestionably, in the ECHL playoffs as a whole, he's the MVP right now.
Mike Condon from Wheeling's really, really good, too. What happened with Ben was, I think one really big thing was Gary Graham called a team meeting, and he went into the room, and he said, guys, Ben's our guy. We can go find somebody else, but they're not going to be as quality as Ben right now. Ben's our best chance to win. And the guys accepted that and believed it, and Ben has repaid that faith in him by producing this way.
It doesn't hurt to get everybody healthy.
No.
Dean Willett, his impact, I don't think can be understated because of what he brought to that line. How important is it to have a guy like Dean? Because we always talk about at the end of the season, can you make this one move? Can you make this other move and maybe make yourself a little better? Dean Willett healthy is...
Oh, that's like the greatest trade ever.
Trade, yeah.
And the thing of it is, too, is maybe even more important than Dean, and this is not to take away from Dean in any way, but you've still got Jason Dale and Matt Carter and Kenton Miller sitting there itching to play. I mean, and they're healthy, and they're pushing guys, you better produce, you're going to be sitting. And just to have that little extra emphasis is unreal right now. But Dean comes in and he brings in Cy Nukovic with him at the same time. And instantly your face-offs are 25% better because you've got 2 centers there instead of just one who can take the face-offs, okay? And Cy is just been so good on the forecheck. And he just makes the forecheck that much better. You never notice him out there. but you always notice that whoever's got the puck is getting rid of it quick because he's on them. And it's not like he's going to knock them into the third row, but he is going to deflect the pass or take it away. I mean, he's really good at that. And Dean is the same way. Dean is such a versatile player who can do everything. I mean, if you look at what they've done on the penalty kill of late. They've had Marino and Mbach, and they've had Schrock and whoever, and Fleming and Auger. I mean, they've got like 4 pairings or 5 pairings deep. So nobody's getting too tired on killing the penalties, and that has really affected where they're able to create offensive chances off the penalty kill because they've got that extra pair there with Cy and Dean, that can kill penalties and stuff too.
Komets, we mentioned how they're relatively healthy, especially for this point in the season. They get a little rest for the legs this week. They've got to figure out whether they're going to be playing Orlando or whether it's going to be Cincinnati. That game 6 with Cincinnati up 3-2 at this point.
And they're in Orlando.
Yeah, will be Tuesday night, game 7 Wednesday. You said the first game of this next series will be Friday, but does it matter? Like, do the Komets care? Because they've played really well at Cincinnati this year. But I feel like when they play in Orlando, it's a weird sample size because they play like 3 games in a very short period, so it's not necessarily reflective.
Well, actually, they didn't play it. They only played Orlando here this year. That's it. You're thinking of Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
You're right.
Yeah, I mean, because I thought the same thing when I looked it up.
So do they have any preference?
No, I think they'd rather play at Cincinnati because of the travel factor, and you're going to have 1,000 Komets fans there too, which is a huge factor because Cincinnati drew only 1,500 for their last home game against Orlando down there. So that 1,000 fans can make an unbelievable difference on the road, too. And then on the other hand, you look at Orlando and they don't have the goaltending that Cincinnati has. So it's kind of like there's benefits to both. If it goes to Orlando, it'll be a 2-3-2 series. If it goes to Cincinnati, it'll probably be 2-2, 1-1-1. So, you got to look at it that way, too. I don't think they care. Really, just play tomorrow. I think they don't mind having the extra days off till Friday, but I think they're going to be so itching to play, and it's going to be so hard for whoever wins that series to turn around in 2 days and flip it. That's tough.
You don't think they'd like to play a guy, Mickey Lang?
I know. I thought of that too.
This guy I've heard of.
Especially because if you stop him, you stop Orlando.
Oh, well, he's the MVP for some reason. It would be nice to see that. That would be an interesting dynamic, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The Komets, we have documented here on Inside the Zone about their struggles at home this season.
Were you surprised as everybody else when we realized that they've won 9 out of 10 at home?
That's the thing. We asked Gary Graham in practice about it last week. We're like, how do you, turn this on at home? He's like, we have the last couple of weeks. And it's like, yeah, I guess quietly they have. And
they have, but they haven't in a way because they just brought the road game home is what they did. I mean, look at how they're playing defense. It's exactly like they play on the road. They come out really, really hard, aggressive, and if they can score first, then they kind of shut it down. And it's like, but they're always looking for the home run pass, the stretch pass, to see if they can create another scoring opportunity. Because if they go up 2-0, it's over, the way Ben's playing. But they're very cognizant of the defensive game and clearing the front of the net, which they hadn't been doing all year at home.